I welcome everyone to this webinar, the first one of this year for the European Road Safety Charter, and it is focused on the road safety programs for children. I welcome all those who have contacted us through this webinar, and especially for panelists who will be doing short presentations during the webinar. The four panelists are Maite Sanz-Villegas from the European Commission, Tina Panian from FGM Amor, Helle Hessel from Volvo Trucks, and Maria Berchet of PAU Education. I am presenting to you our first panelist, Maite Sanz-Villegas, who is with the European Commission in Brussels with DG Move, and she will give us a short introduction into the position of the road safety education in the EC, in the European Commission. Thank you very much, Maite.
Thank you, Peter. And first of all, I would say welcome to all the audience that is hearing now. I hope everyone can hear perfectly well. So here with me there is a colleague, Florence Bonfoy, that is working on the road safety and the European Road Safety Charter project, and he's in charge mainly of the activities for the charter. I'm working on road safety unit. I'm working also for the charter, but I'm working also on project linked with accidentology. So means to know the causes and the circumstances of the accidents. So I am going to make this introduction. First of all, say that the Commission has a road safety action plan with the objective to reduce by 50% the number of fatalities on the period 2010-2020. The Commission has this ambitious project to reduce fatalities, and there is different actions to reduce accidents and fatalities. And there is not specific actions that are dedicated to children or to education. But indirectly, there is action that are addressed to children or to education. For example, in one of the points, we have to tackle the problem of vulnerable road users. So in that case, children are vulnerables. We do some actions also on education and training in general. So we are going to deal also with education and training for the children. And we can directly also promote actions like the commitments on the European Road Safety Charter that in many cases are targeting children. So why we are interested on the problematic of the children? So first of all, because they are vulnerables. Vulnerables because they have a different physiognomy than adults, but also because they are following the risk that the parents have. Last year we have had around 800 children fatalities on the European Union. Even if it's only 3% of all the fatalities, we consider that it's very important because children are suffering the risk of the others. From these 800 fatalities for children, 40% are in passenger cars, 30% are as pedestrians, and 50% are cyclists. So all the actions that we do to improve road safety in vehicles indirectly are targeting children. For example, if it's mandatory to wear the seatbelt or to have child restraint on vehicles, this is an action that is directly addressed to children. When when the front of the vehicle has to be designed friendly for pedestrians is also an action that is good for children. When we promote that the infrastructure should be better designed for pedestrians, indirectly they tackle the children. So when I say we are not doing a specific action for children, we don't have it, but most of the actions that we do have an aspect for children. About the education, we at DG Move, we don't have the mandate to do this kind of projects on education, but as I say before, on the action on the road safety charter, the civil society can take these projects to promote road safety for children. So that is everything that I wanted to do as introduction, and I pass the floor to Peter.
Thank you very much, Maite. That was very interesting. We all know that the European Commission is very serious about promoting road safety within the decade of action. And that is also why you have set those targets and why you have developed your road safety strategy. I'm sure that the people who are participating in this conference are aware of your strategy and how widely it is aimed at the different target groups that can assist in improving the road safety situation. You are absolutely right by saying that, you know, there are various opportunities within your strategy and the focus groups that you've selected, and although it doesn't specify specifically the children and road safety education programs, there are these opportunities to bring the themes into that and to deal with it. And then, as you said, also specifically through the charter. Thank you very much, and we're going to move on now after that introduction, and we will ask Tina Panyan from FGM Amor to give us a short presentation on a number of topics, a number of themes that she is involved in. She is an educationist and a project manager in the field of traffic education in road safety and social inclusion. She is an employee of FGM Amor, where she's been working since 1998. The projects that she will be referring to is a bicycle training in traffic, a reality for children of primary schools, and it's an ongoing project. The other one is the European Union project Together on the Move, an energy efficient transport training for immigrants, and elaborating a curricula for bicycle trainers in Austria. Also the Close To project, young drivers tell their accident story in driving schools and to young people in the military training in the Austrian army, as a road safety prevention method for young drivers, which is ongoing. So there's a variety of themes focused mainly then on cyclists, children as cyclists, and then the young drivers and how they influence each other through peer education. So Tina, we look forward to your contribution.
Yes, thank you, Peter. A very warm welcome from Graz, from me, and I hope you can hear me very well and can see the presentation that I prepared. First of all, thanks for the invitation for the webinar. It's a pleasure to be here and talk about bicycle training for children in primary schools. I give you just a short description of our company. We are a non-profit company. We have about 40 employees, and we mainly work on projects on road safety, traffic education, mobility and project management, but also research, consulting, traffic planning, logistics, communication and dissemination. What we do and our department does is working really with tailor-made concepts and education and training projects. We have cooperation with governmental departments, stakeholders, schools and companies, and we work on EU projects but also on national projects, mainly with the city of Graz. My presentation can be divided in 3 parts. I give you a short overview of our current or former road safety education concepts and actions we dealt with at Austrian Mobility Research. Then I give you the short example of the bicycle training in traffic reality. It's an ongoing project. It was established in 20 years ago, so it's quite a long-term project. And I give you short results and experiences from our side as bicycle trainers and recommendations. Concerning road safety education concepts and actions for children, I can say that you have really many approaches to address road safety to children. You have you can organize single actions with schools and kindergartens. You go with your materials to the schools and show them what you have as a concept in a playful way. So this is the left and the middle photo is a walking activity with a kindergarten, and the right photo is a painting action on the street. So you can organize a lot of single actions. You can involve children into training and participation, bicycle training in traffic reality as an example, but also children as traffic planner. So the left photo shows that the children are measuring the speed together with the police on the streets. You can have public transport games. You can bring the topic in a playful way of infrastructure and control, so you can go out with your class or with the children and to look what is on the street, how much space do they have on the pavements for walking. So the left picture shows they measure the size of the pavements. You can do also artistic playful ways to make sculptures together with the children on the street. This shows the middle photo. It's quite small. I hope you can see it. And the right picture shows we installed many years ago in front of a primary school a parent stop. So I will come to this problem, the traffic in front of the schools very soon when I introduce the bicycle training to you. You can also do a lot of campaigns and media actions. This is a game. It's called a walking and cycling campaign. It's called the Traffic Snake game. It was initiated by Mobile 21, a transport company dealing with mobility management in Belgium. And you can do actions on a car-free day. You can make together the children's radio, where you talk about road safety, where you talk about walking and cycling and how they feel about. And it's very important to involve all the parties, the schools and the parents and the children, and to hear what the perspective of their perspective. So to listen to them, what they feel about when they go to school together, and what are the problems and what they like and don't like. You can also implement trainings with training materials. You can make a travel diary. You can make city maps for children. So they like these things very much because they can closely work with it, and it's their school environment, and they are very keen on these materials. The bicycle training in traffic reality, why we dealing with this project for quite a long time. In Graz, we have the problem that we the exam, the bicycle exam for children, is in the traffic education garden in confined space. So they hardly learn how to travel in traffic reality. So they, though they pass the exam and they are successful in the exam in the traffic education garden, they cannot walk or cycle on the streets. So this is a problem, and we said, okay, we want to install a project where we go outside with the children and to learn the real traffic environment. And we also have the problem in primary schools that road safety was not renewed in the last time, in the last years. So road safety education is learning with norms and rules and how the children can be safe and how to protect them. But it's an approach which is not very. It's okay, but it's quite traditional because the children they forget how to move very self-confident in traffic space. We said, okay, adapt a pedagogical approach. We have the training in real environment. We have to motivate and empower the children for being experts in road safety behavior, and include also social learning and lifelong learning to the topic of mobility, and to show them that bicycle is a sustainable means of transport, and of course they should have pleasure. This is the traffic education garden in Graz. It is a confined space. It's okay that you show the children how it works, but the problem is it's very a small space, and on the one hand they have the problem to tackle with all these traffic signs in parallel. On the other hand, they are not really shown the traffic, the real traffic environment. The second problem, or the second situation we have to deal with I'm sure it's not in the problem in Graz, in Austria, but also in many primary schools. The traffic situation in the peak times in the morning in front of schools, so the busy, high frequented roads. And the big problem is that the parents often think that they can secure their children when they drive the children to school, but the problem is they cause then the traffic and it's not safe.
Tina, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you would
yes?
have to start wrapping up in your time slot.
Yes, okay. Okay. And the speeding zone, the 30 zone, there are no bicycle lanes and missing traffic lights. We said, okay, make some individual exercising in confined space to work on the coordination and concentration, and if they feel safe, you can go out with them into the traffic environment. You can also do a lot of exercises in confined space. You can make a snake game, you can work on your coordination and concentration, you can make the figure 8 and let the children ride it out. You can ride in a straight line and so on. So there are many different examples for confined space, for protected area. And then go out and ride together in real traffic environment. Of course, you have the conditions in front of the school. Some are more traffic loaded, some are more calm, traffic calm. But you have to select not too highly frequented routes for the children. Then you can make individual exercises on the streets for left-hand sign, how to stop in the right way, and how to behave on the streets. And the main part of the training is, of course, a secure and trustful atmosphere to support children with individual feedback. I give also personal feedback between the exercises. We then, after the finalization of the bicycle training, we make a short lesson in school to summarize everything and give also feedback to teachers and parents. The evaluation results
I'm sorry, but you will have to give a final wrap-up. You'll have to come to the conclusion now, please.
Okay. I can say that the traffic in the bicycle training in traffic reality really helps a lot. So the figures, they increase. You can see it on the left picture. The cycling behavior of pupils improves, and we hope that it stays that way. Experience recommendations involve all parties and make regular quality checks, evaluation of the training, consider the current traffic situation, and include important factors, mobility and risk competence and social competence. And we have made the experience that social learning is a high quality for the current traffic education. So, okay, and this is maybe the next generation. Thank you for your attention and for your patience, and I hope I was not too long with my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tina. It's a really very interesting topic that you've been dealing with, and I've jotted down a number of things here which I think actually, it would be good if we could have follow-up discussions again in a webinar like this, specifically about the training of children in a dedicated area, like a junior traffic training center, and the challenges of that, and then taking them into the real situation. But thank you very much. It's very thought-provoking, and I'm sure that there will be some follow-ups to that. Our next panelist is Helle, and Helle is from Volvo Group in Denmark. Helle Hessel is the marketing, the communication and PR manager from the Volvo Group trucks in Denmark. And we all know globally Volvo is recognized for their focus on road safety and the research that they do. It's one of the 3 core values of Volvo. On the Danish market, Volvo Trucks was the founder of the initiative Road Safety at Eye Level, which teaches the importance of road safety in general in relation to trucks, especially to young children. So, Helle, we really look forward to your presentation on this. I'm very curious to know what does it actually entail, this road safety at eye level. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peter, and thanks for the introduction and for inviting me here. Obviously, we're really happy to be able to share this project with you, which is, as you said, Volvo in general, Volvo Group and Volvo Trucks has always been very big on safety, and it is one of the primary core values. Some of you may know that we invented the 3-point seatbelt, and ever since then, I think we've been on a roll when it comes to safety. But this is actually a local initiative that was started in Denmark, not in the headquarters. So we're happy to share that with you today. Just to start with a bit of background for the project. As I said, safety is a core value for Volvo Trucks, so we wanted to do something in this regard. And about 10 years ago, right turn accidents involving trucks and bicycles was a growing problem in Denmark. even though it's quite a small number of people that get hurt. It's about in the last 10 years, it's been between 7 and 27 serious injuries a year, and between 1 and 11 casualties a year. This has been a very big problem in Denmark, because when it does happen, it is very traumatic. It normally happens in cities, so in front of a lot of people. The accidents are very, very bad and normally have a high casualty rate. So we wanted to do something to avoid this. And even though most of the people involved in the accidents, in the right turn accidents, aren't actually children, we decided to target children anyway. We want to reach the children at the age where they're impressionable, where they still think that trucks are cool, where they have some respect for authorities, such as a truck driver telling them about this, but they're still old enough to understand the training. So that's between 7 and 9. Also, they're young enough to go home and give the material that they get on the day to their parents, and that way we can also influence parents and teachers. It was founded, as Peter said, by Volvo Trucks Denmark in 2004, but of course we have several partners also from the transport industry. We have the partners that you see here on the screen, so from all parts of the transport industry, all working together in a network. As I said, children between 7 and 9, 7 and 10 years old. In Denmark, that's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th class in primary school. But of course, also we're targeting the teachers and parents through our activities. Our secondary target group is politicians and media. And the primary aim is, of course, to teach children how to act in traffic, especially when it comes to being around heavy-duty trucks, but at the same time also in all other parts of the traffic. So, for example, we teach them about the importance of using bicycle helmets, or this is actually done by using an egg. I think you can imagine how that turns out. It's not pretty. The secondary aim is also to get out into society and improve the way that the transport industry is seen. Often it is seen as a nuisance, and trucks are seen as a nuisance. So why do they have to be in the cities, and why can't they just be somewhere else, and we'll transport the food in another way? So this is also a way of gaining some good press and some giving people good experiences with the transport industry. Finally, it's also been a goal to achieve a role of spokesperson within traffic safety, so that this project would be the go-to person in the form of DTL, Danish Transport and Logistics, the trade association, when there is something about right turn accidents in trucks and safety, traffic safety in general. The way that we do it is we go out to different schools. Every year we select a geographical area where we go out to a number of schools there. And we start off with 20 minutes of class training. This is something that's been developed in collaboration with a focus group of primary school teachers and teaching consultants in order to make it appropriate for the age group and to keep it short enough to capture their attention, but keep it long enough so that they actually learn something. So 20 minutes showing traffic situations and how to behave in the traffic using some toy trucks and bicycles and a big... I'll show you the pictures afterwards. Unfortunately, we weren't able to show the film that shows how it works, but I think Lara is going to distribute the link to the film as well. We show the difficulties or the problem with the blind spot by giving one of the children swim goggles to wear, and all the other children coming from the back, and you can't see them until they're out here. As I said, we use an egg and a tiny bicycle helmet first to show the bicycle helmet saving the egg, and then, unfortunately, catastrophe for the egg, showing them why they should wear their bike helmet. After that, we go outside to the truck and have 20 minutes of outdoor training and practical teaching around and in the truck. So they get to see the truck both inside and out. They get to walk around, see where are the dangerous spots, where is it that you're supposed to place yourself on your bike if you see a right-turning truck. And they get to go inside, and while they're inside, the rest of the class actually gets to hide in the blind spots so that they see how difficult it is for the driver to see them. Afterwards, there's a small quiz taking into regard what they've seen and heard, and they can obviously win some prizes in that. And finally, they get a leaflet for the parents to bring home explaining what the children have seen and why they've seen it and how they should talk to them about it. Obviously, we haven't changed a lot since it started in 2004. It's a good and proven concept. We've had, I think, 75,000 children through now, so quite a lot. But I wanted to show you what we do just to keep it upgraded and keep it up to date. So every year we have a project team consisting, of course, of representatives of the organizations you saw before, the partners. And we update the existing material. Sometimes we create new material if it's necessary, like a film or new posters or banners and so on. In January, we recruit the schools, which is something we decide on a geographical area, as I said. Then we put it in Folkeskolen, which is the teachers' magazine in Denmark. Put in an ad and put out a press release and hope to get enough schools to join, and that normally works very well. We send out a press release in preparation of our opening event, where we normally try to get a politician or an influential person to speak as well there. Then in March we start the training of the teachers and the truck drivers. The teachers have before been from Falk, a truck, what do you call it, a haulage company, but now they are from OK and are hired by them. And the truck drivers obviously come out as well. And they need to be trained in how to talk to the children and what is the material and what should they talk about. In April we have the opening event, hopefully with some press and good press. And then from April to June we go out and teach. In 2014 at the moment we have 174 classes submitted at 45 different schools, so it's quite an extensive program. During the summer, we also attend 3 to 4 different events that might be relevant, where there will be children, where they will have time to come and have a look, and we just stand out there with the truck and try to recruit them and do the quiz and give giveaways and so on to make them aware of this project. Then September and October is evaluations in preparation for the next year, and that's basically how it goes every year. To evaluate the success of the program, we use press clippings and PR value. We look at how many children do we get through in a season. Last year we were very challenged on that, but we did actually get through because we extended the season. We had a lockout in Denmark, so all the schools were closed for a month and a half in the period that we normally teach, so that was a bit difficult. Of course, we look at how is the participation in the fairs and events gone. Do we want to participate again next year? We send out a questionnaire to the teachers, and this year we also plan to do a focus group in preparation of maybe making some more material that the teachers can use after the event to reinforce the learning. Outcome of this has been, for us, very good. We've created a good project that, as I said, 75,000 children have been through so far. Less accidents, I would have said, last year. Unfortunately, 2013 was a very bad year in terms of right-turn accidents in Denmark. Otherwise, we could see a decline, so we were sure that we had something to do with that. But I think all of the 75,000 children that we've taught so far, when they grow up, they will not be part of these accidents, as they are a lot more aware of this. We're a part of the debate. I think we've succeeded also in creating a better reputation for the truck industry. This is really CSR work in action instead of just on paper or online. And of course, it gives us a really good industry network. We have a great collaboration with our partners who are also partners that we meet in our everyday life. Peter, how is it going on time? Do I have time to show the pictures? Or?
You should wrap up now, Ella. The time is up. Yes, I'm sorry.
That's fine, because I think we'll give the link to the film and the pictures are just from the film.
Yes.
But thank you very much.
No, thank you to you too. This is a very, very interesting approach. I must say I like the idea of the practical side of it, the theoretical and the practical, and then the quiz that comes with it. So thank you very much. This is really stimulating. Something really, really interesting. Thank you very much for that. Our next panelist that we move on to is Maria. I think Maria is well known to a number of you. Maria Bersech is in charge of the strategy in PAU education road safety projects, and also involved in the charter, and then a pilot program that they are running in 3 countries, the Safe Routes for Youth. Your Ideas, Your Initiatives is another project, and the European Youth Forum for Road Safety. So she's well involved, and she knows sufficiently about the involvement of children and the importance of road safety education. So Maria, thank you very much. We would like to hear a little bit more about you, about children's participation in these programs.
Great. Thank you, Peter, and good morning to everybody. It's great to be here. And thank you, Bettina and Helle, for your presentations. I think that they were very interesting and good practical examples of different ways of involving children in road safety education, which is what I wanted to talk about more from a theoretical point of view, about the importance of really engaging children and ensuring authentic participation. So we wanted to focus on this discussion from a children's rights point of view. We think that it's really important that this viewpoint be promoted, because children do have a right to a safe environment and the right to express their views and to participate in decision making. This is from the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Child. And we think that unsafe streets that limit children's opportunity to move around and play pose a serious risk of injury or death, and that they directly affect health and quality of life. I think that we would all agree with this. So we want to just stress the fact that children have a right to contribute actively to road safety, so they shouldn't just be passive receivers, but they should be really empowered to actively engage and to participate in creating friendlier and safer environments. Because road safety poses a risk for children not only in terms of the risks of being injured or killed, but it also has some collateral damage that is important to remember, is that if children are afraid of being on the streets and if parents are afraid that their children will be out at risk, they don't let them play, they don't let them move about independently, and that means less walking, that means less bike riding, that means less freedom and less opportunity to play and to socialize. So street road safety is not only about injury or death, it's also about moving independently and being able to play and to socialize on the street and in the public space. And they're all part of children's rights, and that's why we think it's important to actively promote this kind of taking back the streets, let's say, and for pedestrians and for cyclists and for young children to be able to safely move around and not be afraid when on the street. So that's what we think road safety is about. It should be about encouraging and supporting the children and the community for real change, and not only focusing on individual behavior, but also on the environment, to try to work with children, with schools, and with communities so that they can make positive changes that focus on their environment. How can they make their school and their communities safer? And it should be the children themselves that decide this. So this has to do a lot with what Tina mentioned, how it's really important to involve the children, the parents, and schools to hear their perspectives, to listen to what they feel, to listen to where they feel safe, where they don't feel safe, where are the risks, and how can we make the community not only safer but more accessible and more friendly for everybody. So the objective for road safety education is for young people to explore and reflect on their living conditions and their surrounding environment, and to enhance their awareness and capacity to change these conditions. Then we think that the primary learning objective is what we call action competence, which is the ability to act and to initiate and bring about positive changes. So the focus should be on working together with the children so that they can bring about change. And one approach that we've used in several of our projects and which we think is very useful is the IVAC approach. So it's just a very simple model as to how to engage children. And IVAC means investigation, vision, action, and change. So it's about making sure that the children and the young people participate in all of these dimensions. First, they investigate, they understand the problem, they can do any kind of investigation, surveys, questionnaires, research on the internet, just to understand specifically. They decide what the issue is and try to better understand that issue. Then they should develop a vision as to how they would like the situation to be in the future, and then define actions as to how to make that change, and then see if that change is possible. So it's not only about understanding the situation and thinking about how we would like it to be, but it's also about actually doing something and working with the children to show that they can do something, that they can participate, and that they can be active change agents in their community. So this is just more a theoretical idea. It's about pupils' participation at the bottom, and then that pupils' participation should be able to make changes in the school, but also hopefully in the community. And when thinking about this more from a theoretical point of view, something that's very useful is the ladder of participation, which was created by Roger Hart from the City University of New York. He was very involved in the Declaration of the Children's Rights, especially in the article that has to do with children's participation. And what he says basically is there are different ways of making children participate, and there are different levels of participation. So sometimes we focus on the lower levels of participation, which are what we call non-participation actually, which is just kind of this token participation, which is where, for example, we take pictures with the young children holding up a sign, but the young person doesn't actually know what the sign says or know what it's about or anything. So this is kind of just more for token or for saying that we actually have participation, but where we don't really. And what we have to strive for is to work with the young children so that they really understand what this is about, they become involved, and it's their decisions that are taken forward. So in the upper rungs, you can see the different levels. The lower level is where children are informed about what's happening, but they're not really asked their ideas or their decisions. And then as we move forward, children are consulted, and then they actually initiate and direct the activities and share these with the adults. That's kind of the top level. So just when thinking about it, it's a useful way of thinking about participation and saying, let's strive to really engage the young people, to make it as participatory as possible, knowing that this is the way to engage them and to make real changes, not only in their behavior, but also in their environment. And then this is just a simplified version of the ladder if we think about the different steps. So we talked about the IVAC model, which has to do with investigation, vision, action, change, and then we can think about the different levels where the children can participate, where they can simply be informed, but the decisions are taken by the teachers, where the teacher can suggest, but there's a common dialogue and common decisions by the children, and so forth, and up until the children become more and more involved. Obviously, it's not possible to always have children initiate and lead all the actions, and it depends a lot on their age. But it is interesting to think about, okay, how can we promote real participation? How can we engage young people? And how can we make them be change agents in their community? So this is just a very brief overview. We'll send you the presentation, and we're happy to exchange more ideas and everything with you guys. So thank you all.
Thank you very much, Maria. This is also very, very interesting, especially your model showing, if you look at the ladder, the two approaches that you can have in educating children, and that the active part where they participate is very, very important. And it also isn't
Peter will be able to join us again shortly.
We would like to first ask questions to Elle as it's the first speaker who will have to lead the webinar. So we have a question for Elle from Igor Novacic, and the question is, are parents involved in the program and how? And how many children are participating in each session?
The parents are involved in the sense that we give them some material to bring home to their parents. Otherwise, it's mostly the teachers who are involved.
Okay.
Normally, it's a class at a time, so that's about 20-25 people at the same time, but it can be more classes during a day.
Okay.
Sorry, Ella, we see that Peter is back. Welcome back, Peter.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry about that. I don't know what happened there.
That's okay.
But
We had moved on to the first question for Helen.
Okay.
So
We can continue with that, yes, with the questions.
One question more for Elle from Thomas Kakadiaris. Do you really believe that gadgets on the vehicle are improving safety? They are usually...
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part of that. Is anyone here?
Lara, can you perhaps repeat the last part of the question? Hella, I don't know if you heard something about the question. The question was about equipment or things that you add to the vehicle. And I think the last part of the question was actually to guide on that. I'm not sure whether we still have the connection with Lara.
I think she's writing it down here.
Oh, okay.
I think our philosophy is that there are three very important parts in securing road traffic safety with trucks, and that is obviously the truck needs to be safe, the driver needs to be alert, but the bicyclists or the other people in the traffic also need to be alert. The gadgets, of course, can help, but I think, as you write, they might have the effect that you leave it up to the electronics instead of looking yourself and instead of paying attention in the traffic. But of course, if there's something that can be made something that we can develop that could improve this, then we would do that. But at the moment, there are a lot of different things to take in if you are a truck driver. There are many different mirrors. There are a lot of other things in the traffic that you need to be aware of. So if it helps with extra cameras and so on, I don't know. But I think it's a valid point that it takes away from the attention in the traffic.
Thank you for that, Helle. I'm not sure whether Lara can hear us.
It seems that way.
Okay, maybe she will put us another question.
We're on to another question on the charter. In the question by Jesus, can you read it?
Yeah.
Okay, we hear you back now. So Jesus is asking,
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the list of situations to tackle. Oh, I can hear myself.
If I may say something about that, Ella, I think typically, you know, a very good way of finding this list and to grow up the list is to actually find out from the children themselves, you know, in discussions with them, what are the problems that they experience when they're out in traffic, or what are the problems that they experience when they come to school or go back home. And that those are the typical things that you would like to address with them, and also to involve them in perhaps interacting with people who can solve that problem. So maybe that would be one way of getting that list together of situations that need to be addressed. Lara, are there any other questions?
I'm just tracking it now by Igor Novacic. And are there recreational vehicles included in the program of education? If you see Ellen?
Yeah. With recreational vehicles, you mean what? Campers and buses and so on?
I guess this is what Igor meant.
No, it's just trucks. Because the problem in Denmark has been mainly with trucks. I saw that someone was also writing about buses, and of course it's the same case and same scenario, but the difference between the trucks and the buses is that the buses are a lot lower because they're low entry and don't have to have the same ground clearance as the trucks, and also they have the possibility of having an extra window in the right area. And no passengers in the passenger seat. So we don't see the problem with buses as much, nearly as much. It's mostly trucks. So that's the main focus for us. And the campus, I think, it's difficult because it's not a commercial vehicle. It is private people driving it, so that's a bit different. And yes, Holger, that's right. The long distance coaches have the same problem, but luckily they're not quite as high clearance underneath. So if it happens, I know we did have a case in Copenhagen last year, but when it does happen, normally it's not as fatal as with trucks, because you can get you don't fall under the wheels in the same way as with trucks.
I noticed that Igor and Holger are both also indicating you know, different target groups that can be approached in a different manner, where you are focusing on children now and you know, educating them at a very early stage so that they take the knowledge with them through life. In these other two target groups, you will have to approach them in a different way, perhaps through the companies where they rent these campers during the summer time, or something like that.
Yeah. So I know that you have to leave out shortly, so thanks a lot for your presentation and for taking time to reply to the questions. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it was a pleasure for us. I think we can go ahead and ask questions for Tina, the first speaker. Tina, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello. So we have a question for you that was asked in the beginning by Igor Novacic, and I'm typing it now so you will see it. If you have been involved in the Austrian program, please complete.
Blick and Click, this is, which program do you mean? I think this is a single project. So we have quite single projects in Austria and in Graz, but the bicycle training is not involved in Blick and Click as far as I know.
He was also asking if you issue, you will see it now, it's coming, if you issue some kind of permit or recognition for the children.
Did you hear the question?
Yes, yeah. I did. I had need some seconds to understand the question. Sorry. Yes. Okay. This project has been installed 20 years ago, and we trained about 20,000 children, and we prepare the parents with the paper, and the schools with the paper, and the police is already informed about this training. It takes place every year in spring, and so all parties are informed. And the permission we need, of course, we catch the permission of the parents. So if the parents say, okay, no, my child is not allowed to ride on the street, we then we of course we have to accept this, and the children, we only take the children to the roads where the parents said we can allow this.
I think that is a very important issue, Tina, is taking the children
Yes.
out into the real traffic situation and taking the responsibility for these children's safety.
Yes.
I think that is something that through my experience, there are not many people who would be prepared to do that. You know, especially when you have a larger group of children. So it's very interesting that you do that, and that you have a way, I'm sure, of controlling that and make sure that it's safe.
Yes, the schools trust us now because they see, okay, the project runs for quite a long time, and we are organized and we are prepared for this situation, but it's not easy, of course, and we have to care for them, and it's now accepted by the schools, and they know us and they trust us, and of course we have an insurance for this, and everything is covered, and thankfully it works really good, and but it's not an easy project, yes, but it's a very beautiful project.
We have come to the point where we will have to wrap up with this discussion. I'm sure that there are still plenty of questions, and you can do so, those who are online and who are into this meeting, to put the questions through the chat, and then there's always opportunity to respond to that afterwards. I really wish to thank the panelists for participating. I know that you have full schedules and that you're very busy. Maite, I'm really thankful that you made time available, because we all know that in the European Union we work according to the same strategies and the same plans, and we value the strategy that you put together in the EU, in the Commission, and that you give the guidance for that. So we also appreciate your participation in this. The same with the rest of the panelists. Also with PAU Education and the custodians at the moment of the Charter. Thank you very much. And then for all the people who participated through the chat, I wish I could keep up with reading all the discussions there, but I will do so afterwards. It was really very stimulating, and as I said earlier on, I think a number of things have been mentioned here which in future could justify full discussions just around these topics. So thank you very much from my side for participating and for supporting this very, very interesting and stimulating discussion. I don't know if there's anything, Lara, from your side.
We are asking now one last question to the participants. So if they can give us their feedback on the conference, and we will write on chat that they're welcome to write back. We will write on chat what was their highlight of the webinar. So what did they like most from the webinar?
Good. So with this, Shall we then count it in? Is there still someone who would like to say something?
Thank you, Peter, for moderating the discussion. And thank you, Maite, very much, if you want to say any closing words.
Peter, this is Tina. Thank you, Peter and Lara, for this really interesting hour and your moderation and interesting questions. If you have further questions on the bicycle training, maybe we can send around a link or email address, and you can write me per mail. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, it's Maite.
Yes, Maite, go ahead.
Yeah. I want to thank all of you, the participant and the panelists, for this very nice webinar. So I think it was very interesting for us, and we could share later all the presentation. And also I saw that many people request for data and information that I has provided before. So I'm going to give to the organizers to have this figure and information. And I think it's a great opportunity to do these webinars, in which is the possibility to exchange information between the community of the charter signatories, between them and also with other people that are interested in road safety. And I hope it will be possible for most of you, for the participants mainly, or for the panelists, to participate in other webinars or other opportunities to be together. And thanks also to Peter for the great participation on this webinar. Bye.
Thank you, Maite. Thanks very much. Anything else from PAU Education?
No, that's all. Thanks, everybody, for joining.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.